Melissa Stark and Kaylee Hartung, they will be on the sidelines for Super Bowl 60, working for NBC, of course. Kaylee is working her first Super Bowl. This will be Melissa's second. She last worked the Super Bowl, and that was 23 years ago when the Bucs played the Raiders in San Diego. We got a chance to sit down with them a couple of days ago, and I asked them about trying to treat the Super Bowl like it's just another game, starting with the question to Melissa.
Because I think we treat every game at the same level. I don't care if it's a preseason game or it's the Super Bowl. We attack it and research and do all of the work as if it is. But, you know, I mean, already I think it's fun. I mean, the Kaylee's here, you know, bringing in another sideline reporter. It feels bigger. It is bigger. It's the biggest stage. But it's your first, so I'll have you answer that.
It is. So I think what's fun about this for us is to share this responsibility of covering the sidelines and getting to focus on our respective teams. Melissa will be on the Patriots sideline, I'll be with the Seahawks. But for as much as we both, I think, enjoy the preparation process for a regular season game, it's a different type of challenge to focus on one, but also have the awareness of the other that you need. So I think my fear in a lot of games is that no matter how much you prepare, sometimes you just can't be at the right place at the right time. You know, quarterback gets hurt, he's exiting the field on the opposite sideline from where you are. You're running, trying to get to where you need to be. In this case, I think for us, it sort of takes some of that pressure off.
We got it covered.
Where we can.
How do you decide? Was there a coin toss of who gets the Patriots?
Kaylee, do you want to answer that?
You want the real answer? Well, Melissa, being that this is her Sunday Night Football crew that is so wonderfully
She got first dibs.
allowing me.
Okay.
No, she got first dibs.
I'm speaking about myself in the third person. Yes, exactly.
But we were in constant conversation about it. I think that was one of the most fun things for me about Championship Sunday and watching those games was that Melissa and I were texting throughout.
She kept saying, "What are you thinking?
Who are you
taking?"
Because I want to know where I'm going to land.
So it's funny because, you know, I thought it really wasn't, you know, a definite decision one way or the other, but I just felt like I'd had more games with the Patriots this year. Sideline observations come into play, and then stories. And you think of, you know, Drake May and his wife Ann Michael and the storylines there, and so it was slightly outweighed the Seahawks. But
and for me, I had 2 regular season Seahawks games, so it worked out perfectly for us.
Yeah.
As far as interviews this week, do you then have Seattle players and coaches that you have responsibilities for? Same with you, Melissa?
Yeah, so we do. So we're both going to both team practices, production meetings, and all of that. And then on the side of that, we're each talking to all the individual players for our teams. But we went to media night, and I was just with.
What a circus!
Yeah, that was wild. Were you there? No.
No.
It was too late for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Plus, you don't really learn anything there.
Well, we were behind the scenes down in the hallways, you know, with the players that we wanted to talk to.
Yeah, so typically during a regular game week, we would each be getting on the phone with a couple of players that we request from the teams. In this case, we got to do it face-to-face. We got to do it between all of their different responsibilities on opening night and get more players than we would typically have for a regular game, which just sort of adds to that information that we need to go through, distill, and make sure we've got all of our bases covered.
And it's interesting because, you know, the job of the sideline reporter is to be the eyes and the ears down the field and get you the access, right? And to interview the coaches and injuries, of course, but observations while you're down there. And then do you storytell? And it's almost, you know, we didn't do a ton of storytelling this season where you really personalize a player, because it does, in a way, it can take you out of the game at that moment. But this is such a big audience, so it'll be interesting to me to see how it plays out for us, because we have some incredible stories on some of these players. You know, I just talked to Marcus Jones last night about his son who has autism, and he's 4 years old, and Marcus Jones is learning sign language and things like that. So how does that get into a football game?
Yeah.
You know, that's the hard part. But the audience is so big that stories like that will appeal and touch someone and make you root for that player.
But you could also have these stories told in the pregame, since it's.
Well, we're not in the pregame.
I know, but can't you do a story for the pregame?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. I don't know.
Wait,
I think all the time
you
is
don't
taken
lower
up.
yourself to the pregame.
No, we want to be in the pregame.
Oh my gosh,
we want to be in the pregame.
I got it.
Hey, we are in the pregame show. We will each be at the team hotels.
Yes.
The morning of the Super Bowl and be able
That's
to
more
give
logistics, you know, when they're
reports
leaving,
from
what's
Yeah.
going on. I know. We want to be in the pregame.
We'd be glad to.
The arrangement for the coaches at halftime.
Yes.
You got 2 questions for each?
Oh,
This
Hopefully.
is actually an interesting.
This is the first time ever they both want to be interviewed going in. So we have them back to back. So
Live.
I hope Kaylee doesn't go really long with hers and get over to
think
me and
you're
I
gonna
get
go
one
first
question.
because the Patriots
Yeah.
are the home team.
We're gonna
so
duke it out.
typically during
Yeah.
the regular season, the home team coach gets to choose. Does he want to be going in or coming out? In this case, Mike Vrabel wants to be going in, but Mike McDonald also wants to be going in. So we had to have that conversation with their staffs to be like, and I had this conversation face to face with Mike McDonald last night saying, do you understand? Melissa is going to get Mike Vrabel first, and you might have to wait a beat with me.
Which
and
is
I
a
will
lot.
hold you
Which
down.
feels like a lifetime when you're
Oh
out
my
there
gosh.
and you're holding a coach
Yeah.
and you're waiting.
Oh, yeah.
And you're saying, okay.
But it
especially
is
certain
his
coaches.
choice. He knows the position
Yes.
he's putting himself in.
And you're
so-
trying to make small talk with a guy who might be down, 13 points. You're going, okay.
No, you're just holding. At that point, you're just holding his arm. Like, please don't leave. No small talk.
Who's the toughest, though, to get information out of?
You mean coach-wise?
Oh.
What's interesting, we talk about that because some coaches, I just always say in our production meetings, just say something. Give us something, like not coach.
You say
speak.
this to the coaches?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
To
I
their
say make it
faces.
memorable, you know?
You didn't say this to Belichick, did you?
Well, I mean, I would
I
kind
didn't.
of.
I
would
didn't.
say, well, would you give me more off camera? Or I would say, all right, if I don't interview you on camera, which I know you don't want to do, please just give me like a little bit something off camera. You just do these little negotiations, right?
But why can't you just say, can I get something from Josh McDaniels? Like, can I get something from an assistant so I don't bother you?
I know.
Like Coach K used to do that at Duke. You would go to an assistant instead of doing the halftime interview with Coach K. I mean, I think
Both of these coaches are pretty good. Sometimes I feel like I hear sometimes the viewers say, the coach is never going to say anything. Why do we want that? But it's access, right? It's access. There is the debate of certain coaches that give so much coach speak. Do you just talk to them off camera and then you report, the best of what they said?
Yeah.
But I think you see their face, you see their emotion,
and that can go a real long way.
yeah. Are you a fan of? I think you're over there not being a fan of those
Of what?
of the coach interviews.
No, I feel bad sometimes.
For them.
Or for us.
For you guys.
I know.
It's just
Sometimes it's
you can have a
terrible.
great question.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Because you need somebody to play. You need somebody. Now, you're going to say, hey, what adjustments are you going to make in the second half? As if they're going to tell you. So there's so many, there's sort of like open-ended questions. I hope you're going to take a bite of this. Chances are they're not going to say too much. And if they're up, they don't want to share anything. If they're down, they're going to share the obvious. So that would be the only thing that I cringe sometimes because I know you have to ask a question, but I know they're not going to answer the question.
We just have to make sure our job is to ask the right question.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's, we can't, I go over this all the time with our producer, and I just say, well, what I want him to say is this. It's
I'm like, let's reverse
No.
engineer.
Yeah.
But I think Melissa and I share the feeling that in that moment, we just want to help the viewer learn something. So it's give that coach runway, right? Ask that open, neutral, lean question where they can say whatever it is that they want to say, but hopefully it is illuminating in some way.
Hopefully you're
And to
not
your point,
cringing,
yeah.
okay? They're in the Super Bowl.
but I know the feeling for you
Yes.
because I've seen this happen so often, and you're rooting for just a smooth transaction.
Yes.
That's it.
For it to not go badly.
Yes.
Yes.
But if it does, I want it to really go badly. 'Cause, but,
Thank you.
But not this Sunday, of course.
Not this Sunday, thank you.
But when you have the coach who won't stop,
And you got to run after him?
that drives me crazy.
Yeah. And you really have to
Have
run.
you ever had to chase somebody?
Yes.
Who'd you have to chase?
Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, I
always.
believe that.
Yeah.
Always?
Yes.
Oh, I get in his way. I mean,
Or they've made it where you run up to, now you run up to him.
Yeah.
So you're blocking where he goes through the tunnel and he runs to you and you run to him.
Because
It's
usually the 49ers, when they're on their home sideline, he has to run across the end zone to get to their tunnel.
Yeah.
So you come at the opposite angle. But these are the things that we think about. I mean, we have meetings to talk about the logistics.
That's why you
meeting
wear
with the PR
sneakers.
staffs to say, this is where we're meeting for this interview,
Yeah, it's
whether
all
it's
organized.
pre-kick or, I mean, yeah, this is, we're flying by the seat of our pants on a lot, but we plan where we can.
They are the sideline reporters, Melissa Stark and Kaylee Hartung. And your first Super Bowl, Melissa's second. Do you have to dress appropriately to be able to run across a football field.
Well, it's funny. We've also talked about that. You know, we don't want one of us to look like we're, you know,
We want to look like we're going to the same party.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like whatever that
yeah.
is.
We're not
wanna be coordinated
coordinating,
that
but
way.
yes.
But I'd say shoes.
Oh,
Shoes
that's
are very.
starts there. For
Well,
sure.
shoes. Normally I always wear sneakers, but it's the Super Bowl, so I'm going to elevate
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
Wear
I'm
just
wearing
boots,
these shoes.
you know.
I'm wearing these. These
Yeah,
are
boots
actually
like
the shoes
these.
I'm wearing.
Yeah.
A nice block heel, you know, but like not too high.
It doesn't sink in.
Yeah. We
You
think
have to
about
think about these things. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's
curious
great.
about these things.
Yeah.
We
What
even
if-
have a wardrobe change.
Yeah.
What if there's rain?
Well, she just said, did you buy a rain jacket? And
I
said,
ordered a rain jacket
"No
yesterday
chance."
because I was like, you know what? There is a small
I
chance
know, I
of
saw that.
precipitation.
No.
And if I don't have a rain jacket, I guarantee it will rain.
I refuse to
guarantee
buy a
it
rain
will. But if
jacket.
I have it, I'm thinking I'm helping our chances that it won't.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful what kind of colors you wear on the sidelines.
Well, that's what I said to
Yeah,
you.
we again, a conversation.
Kaylee is right.
It's one thing when you're the only sideline reporter on the game. You're not touching colors of either team. In this case, we each have our own sideline. Navy blue just happens to be a color for both teams. I think of navy blue as kind of a neutral.
Yeah, she's wearing navy blue.
I am wearing navy blue.
Yeah.
Sue me. I like the suit, and here we go.
I think there's a prop bet on what color. So now it's navy blue, so to be able to put some money down on that.
There you go.
Do you care who wins?
We want a great game. We want a lot of emotion. I mean, post-game interviews, despite the
Oh,
fact
I was
that we
going
each
to ask
have our
you
own
this.
teams.
You know what? It's so funny because if my team, if the Patriots lose, I have to do a losing interview with Vrabel.
And same for me with the
And I was
Seahawks
actually thinking
McDonald.
about you because I feel like you've had to do a lot of those in those big moments, and sort of how I've never had to do that in my career.
I think you have to do the library voice.
Okay, so you get very quiet
Yeah.
and very somber.
Yes.
I know, but the questioning, is it just what was the message to the team in the locker room?
Yeah, I think you'll get a sense of it. You know, as nosy as you are,
Yeah.
you'll be great at.
Thank you.
No,
You
I-
mean that in the best possible way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're very curious, so but getting a sense of emotion is what we want, because if that was your team and your coach and you lost and then you want to empathize, even if you're Seattle and New England loses, you're still, you feel bad. Somebody's going to have to lose, but you can't say like, man, Mike, you blew it.
Yes.
No leading questions like that.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I'm
You
so
should
glad
have-
I asked you.
You should have run the ball at the goal line and not thrown the ball at the goal line.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, that's always a good one. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So fun.
Melissa Stark, Kaylee Hartung, they joined us a couple of days ago. They will be on the sidelines. So there's a lot of things going on for everybody broadcasting this game. And Melissa brings up something that it's not every reporter's nightmare. It's you got to get into a mood when you're going to talk to somebody who just lost the biggest game of their life. How do you do it? And of course, I always say you got to start with the voice. Coach, boy, disappointing loss. What was your message to your team? How does that sound?
Yeah, you sound
Pretty
like
good?
you sound like
Okay.
you care.
Yeah.
You sound kind of amused, actually.
What?
You did, yeah. Yeah, you sound kind of amused. I think you have to take it down even further.
Okay. All right. Coach, thanks for joining us. I know, difficult time. What was the message to your team?
There you go.
That was more of a death in the family tone, I think. That
Well,
was,
Your hopes and dreams just died.
This
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
might have been worse than a death in the family.
depending, like a
Yeah,
cousin.
Like there's a
Depending
couple.
on family members.
Yeah.
That's fair.
There's a couple I could lose, and no. What?
We're still on.
Okay.